What's going on, everyone? This is Nate the Great coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network. I'm here today with Ray Cruz to cover a lot of wrestling, within the past couple of weeks, especially with Money in the Bank coming up and who we could see being in, who's all going to be in Money in the Bank, things like that. A lot of stuff to talk about today. So, Ray, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and let me in.
All right. So, to get things kicked off and rolling. So, the first match was a battle royale. We had basically pretty much every single person that was on the Raw roster, except for the people that have already competed for a qualifier match, and The Miz, because he's dealing with his little injury kind of thing. The winner of this match was Riddle. However, he was in this match under Randy Orton's name because Randy Orton could not compete in this. He was not here on this Monday Night Raw. So, with Riddle and Damian Priest being the final two left in the ring, Riddle wins and moves on to the triple threat. So, how did you thought about what are your thoughts on this, battle royale? Any insights about what happens off of WWE that we need to know about, or anything really relating towards this battle royale?
I mean, I had it figured out that either they're gonna let Drew win or they're gonna have Riddle to take Orton's place and make a little bit more friction with Orton. So that's gonna be the question. There is Orton is this added on? If this is an added on a bonus for Orton and Riddle to start, breaking apart a little bit, is a good omen because, Randy Orton is not in the ladder match. He won't have a chance to go for a world title. It could be intriguing into the storyline too. So I mean, it's a good build up. I like what Raw is doing right now with Riddle and Orton. We don't know if they're going to be a tag team. We don't know if they're going to be fighting against each other. We don't know if they're really liking each other or how this is going to turn out. And I like Riddle. Riddle has now become into his own character. So I like the way they are portraying this right now. And it's a very guessing match. But, I knew Drew's going to probably end up in the ladder match. I don't think he's going to win it because he doesn't have a chance to go up against, Bobby Lashley anymore because of in Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and he lost. So I don't know how that's going to be intrigued. It just probably putting a placeholder, a guy into this Money to make it make it a little bit more interesting, make people, get the pay-per-view and stuff. So, I kind of like the detail where McIntyre is in it, but, to me, I think this is more of the Riddle and Orton story at the most.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was going to be the same way. Now, however, I will say this. If Drew McIntyre wins the Money in the Bank, he better be coming after Sheamus and his title that he owns.
The U.S. title?
Yeah. The U.S. title. I could see that because of the rivalry that they had since they split up. Right. I don't think that he should be winning the Money in the Bank. I think really I see it either being more Riddle or John Morrison as an upset prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how I like how this rolled out, because I think really this storyline was this entire Monday Night Raw, to be honest with you. Well, most of it on the men's side was dedicated just towards the Riddle and Randy Orton storyline. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Now,
I think that's what they were trying to do. Out of this, I think they were trying to set up some heat with Orton. I have a feeling that Orton could show up at the pay-per-view and Money in the Bank and give and take Riddle out of the chance of winning the title. I think that's still in the play too.
Yeah, I can see that. Now I have one other question about the other piece of storyline that came up really in Monday Night Raw, and that was not Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that MVP is going to come back as a wrestler? Not soon, but eventually.
It could be, but I don't see. I think he's just intriguing the storyline between Lashley and Kofi Kingston. Give that a little extra little bona fide play. I don't know how. I don't know if MVP wants to get back in the ring. He could get back in the ring. He sure does look good getting back into the ring. So that's a good question. I really don't know the true answer to that. I don't know how they're going to play this out, because the Hurt Business used to have a group. Now it's down to two out of Benjamin and Alexander's no longer in the group. So I mean, to me, if you're going to call it a Hurt Business, I mean, you only got two people, so he has to get involved some way and somehow. And by the way they did it last Monday night, get Woods out of the picture, and then if Kobe had a stipulation with Kobe Kingston beating MVP to get to Bobby Lashley, so I think that was just a play to build that storyline up a little bit more.
Yeah, and as of next week, which we'll talk more about this next week, Xavier Woods is going to face Bobby Lashley as a rematch of what happened last week. Now, really more of this conversation. This conversation was focused on the ending of last week's Hell in the Cell match, but now Kofi Kingston acknowledges that Bobby Lashley won the match fair and square. Mm-hmm. But after the match is where he had the issue.
Right.
So, moving on away from this, Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross eventually ended up winning the match. But really, again, I think they really need to have a match, a one-on-one match where there's no interference. And that Shayna Baszler wins. Not Shayna. Nikki Cross wins.
Well, I mean, to me, I think they're building it up. I think they're building the story on a little bit more. I think they're trying to get where Nikki Cross is going to probably end up joining forces with Alexa Bliss.
True.
So I mean, it's one piece of the storyline. Having her come out with Nikki Cross battling, Nikki Cross winning on her help. So I mean, that could be setting up the line that forces up. We don't know exactly how long the superhero character of Nikki Cross is going on, but I like the way they bringing her back, and I like the way they the way they're creating these storylines with a little bit more urgency of getting the storyline, getting in that depth for the fans to regroup. And this is the regrouping of Monday Night Raw. I think we're going to see a lot more changes. I know I've seen some predictions that some backstage is going to change a little bit more. So it's going to be intriguing here in the next few months how WWE plays out and leading up to their big pay-per-view of SummerSlam. So, I mean, you got Money in the Bank right now. The winner of that, of course, the contract gets secured around to get to defend it anytime between now and between that pay-per-view and WrestleMania. So we don't know how long this is going to intrigue, how long this is going to play out. We don't know how this is going to play out. We don't know what kind of they're keeping the hush-hush how this Money in the Bank match is going, which is good because, you got to build that interesting. You got to build that pay-per-view around. You got to get all these pay-per-views to come up. And right now, WWE seemed like they're going back into that little They were up, now they're going back down. They're still going down. They're trying to get that curve to go back up. And the storyline with Alexa Bliss is intriguing. It's going to build that character up. And, people say that women can't do what men can do. But right now, that's the best angle that they have going right now in the WWE is Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. And if they wait, I don't know how they're going to bring back Barry Wyatt, but he's coming back soon. I've seen reports of him coming back soon. So this is going to be intriguing how the storyline plays out and how they play into Wyatt. Could this be another setup for the Wyatt family with the Fiend, with the turning of him and having the Fiend come out as his alter ego sometimes? So, I mean, it could be going back. When Barry Wyatt was playing, the Wyatt family was a good thing. So now he has to re-create the Wyatt family. We never know. Nikki Cross could turn out to be, Sister Abigail. That could be into play too. So this is a good storyline. I think it's getting intriguing. I think the way they're building this up, you want to see how this is going to play out on the road. We know how it's played out in the Thunderdome because they can do a lot of cinematic. They can you can add the matches in. We don't know if they actually that those matches are live, or they cinematic put in there with some special effects. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out with the crowd here coming up in July. So it's gonna be very interesting how the storyline carries out from the Thunderdome into live arenas. So we're gonna see how WWE plays this out because I think right now the WWE is hurting because being in the Thunderdome and having no audience. AEW's got audience inside the Daily's place here in Jacksonville, Florida. So and then they're gonna continue. They're gonna end up on the road. So we need to find out how this is gonna play out. And this is the best angle they got right now, unless they're going to add some more players. I know they rumor some more people coming up, but right now, Alexa Bliss is holding Monday Night Raw right now.
My only really concern about this match is I really don't like the almost superhero.
Well, I mean, we had the man's version of the Hurricane. Now we got the woman's version of whatever she's supposed to be. I don't think they really have said what her name is going to be. I don't know how long this is going to play out. And by keeping no name, she could end up turning out to be, Alexa Bliss could end up turning her into some kind of trans mummy type deal and shed that and become Sister Abigail. And we don't know if that set up when she distracted Wyatt, we don't know if that's really was planned and have an intriguing thing they're going up against the Wyatt. We don't know that. Right now we know the facts of that Barry Wyatt is on his way back. We don't know how he's going to fit in. We don't know how the storyline's going to be. This storyline can end up turning out to be that, it was all a play. Alexa Bliss making people think this, and then Wyatt comes back and was behind a whole heap of stuff that's going on.
Okay. So up next, Asuka and Naomi versus Eva Marie and Doudrop. Sorry, that name's kind of funny. Yeah, Doudrop. Eva Marie and Doudrop. The winner of this was... well, they didn't really actually say a winner of this match. And by the way, this was cut out of Hulu.
I can tell you who won this match. What happened in this match was Naomi and Asuka started out. Eva Marie and Doudrop started out. You remember how Doudrop, I guess, Eva Marie or Doudrop left or something. Mm-hmm. And then Eva Marie did the same thing. She left and Doudrop recovered and won the match. So Doudrop recovered and took out Asuka and Naomi by herself to score the win. Eva looked completely shy, but grabbed the mic and announced herself as the winner. So, I mean, I think they're
really trying to build up Doudrop to be like a strong competitor.
Yeah, that's one way, and I think is another way to have Eva Marie leave is probably. I think she's done what she needed to be done here, and I think to get Doudrop in, I think this is going to be where Eva Marie probably X's out. So they're trying to fade her out a little bit. I think I've seen some reports that she's not going to be in WWE long. She just come in, do a cameo appearance, and get Doudrop probably into the WWE main roster. So I mean, it's a good deployed. You got interesting with their where the the build up for Eva Marie to come back. So I mean, I don't know exactly what the point of her coming back is and doing this. I don't know how they plan this character out.
I think that really she's needs to go back, just like do acting, but not wrestling.
Right.
All right. After that, Ricochet had a match against John Morrison, and this was another match that was cut out of Hulu.
Okay, I can read a little bit here for you. After Ricochet stole John Morrison's drip stick and used it to spray the Miz backstage, Jomo and Ricochet did battle in a single match. They went back and forth with some quick kicks, takedowns before Johnny Drip scored the first 2 count of the match, and he maintained the upper hand until Ricochet drop kicked him out of the ring. The Miz used his wheelchair to block Ricochet from getting to Morrison, and Ricochet jumped over him and hit a hurricanrana, and he grabbed another drip stick and sprayed the A-listener. Joe Mo had Ricochet cornered when he returned from a commercial. The one and only started to build up a hit of steam, and as he hit a series of quick moves and get a near fall, Ricochet ended up hitting a springboard crossbody to the outside that sends him and Morrison over the barricade.
So it was a draw. Draw.
Yeah, and neither man beat the 10 count into the ring.
So was this just a time filling match or what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know unless they're going to start building a series with Ricochet and Drip. Yeah, I mean that's what Morrison's going by now. He's going by Johnny Drip.
I hate that name.
Well, let me give you a little bit of background on the. I read some reports, and his wife was in Impact Wrestling. Now she's in NXT. Johnny Morrison's wife. She said that he was going around the house saying drip. It's supposed to be some kind of something that he gets in his head, and he figured that he got in his head so much and listened to music, and he started saying drip, and then all of a sudden it stuck on him. So that's when he came up with drip. So, and then WWE liked it, so that's why he's got it. So,
again, I still hate that name.
Yeah.
All right, up next was Charlotte Flair, Natalya, and Tamina versus Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Rhea Ripley. The winner of this was Charlotte Flair, Natalya, and Tamina, and a 6-man tag. It was a 3-man tag, 6-man tag team match.
Yeah, and then at the end of the match, Ripley did a chop block on Charlotte Flair like Charlotte Flair used to do. And the day when people turned their back and walking out of the ring, she went with a chop block to try to mess up the knee. Well, Ripley is doing that. Did that to her after the match. So they're trying to give Flair some taste of her own medicine with Ripley, and I think this is a good setup for their battle for that women's title.
So after this, I kind of had a feeling that this next match was going to happen. Really since the interview of really since the promo of last week, where actually it was okay. Elias versus Jackson Riker.
Right.
Scratch that. I read that wrong. I thought it was Mansoor versus Jackson Riker because the down below it shows a video
right
with Mansoor on it. I have a feeling that they're going to set up a Jackson Riker and Mansoor match.
Maybe, but we gotta get this Elias and Jackson Riker his trying to close this out, this rivalry between the two who build up this friendship and now turn into a rivalry. I think Mansoor is just there to help him out with his promo. And right now, I don't know if they're gonna take. I think if they run this Elias and Riker story short, it's gonna mess up the whole situation where they build it up to a good. I mean, it's a good story for Elias to try to show that he is worth to move into contention for a title, for like a U.S. title or some kind of title here. And this is going to give him a little build up. If they cut this short, then we know Elias is not going to be anytime soon to be up for like a U.S. title match or or any kind of titles.
After that, the last match of the night, which was probably my favorite match of the night, if I have to be honest with you, Drew McIntyre versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. Now I get it; it's a triple threat match, and I'm not a fan of how they've been doing triple threat matches lately. But if I have to be honest, because of Riddle alone, of how he came back, now I get that Matt Riddle lost, but how Riddle got hurt with his foot injury, what Riddle was doing covering for Randy Orton, and him going up against Drew McIntyre. I get it that Drew McIntyre won, but it's still my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, Riddle is proving himself. I mean, you got to understand McIntyre. Riddle was a former MMA fighter. Nobody realized that. He was an MMA fighter. He came in with his raw ability to put this character it's just a blatant. This character is just a generic character. I mean, he's a bro. He's acting like he's a surfer dude. We have seen this before from wrestlers, but he added a twist by him jumping over the top rope and kicking his flip flops, his shoes off and stuff like that. Add a little bit of interest to that, but he's carrying this character good, and Orton has been helping him, and you can see the ability of what Orton has done with him, teaming up with him, and showing some of the ropes for Riddle. It's improved his career, and now Orton wants to work with him, and that's got to be high praise from you. You know, you're a young wrestler, and you got a veteran like Orton say, "I want to work with you. I think we could do something special." I think this is going to be a good way if they're going to battle. I like to see them start off as a team, him and Orton, and then go for the title, and then somewhere in the point have Orton turn on him, to cause him to lose the title, and then start that as a one-on-one and see what Riddle can do with Orton. And this could lead to Riddle having a shot at the U.S. title. It could lead Riddle being, eventually into the WWE World Title picture, because his background in MMA, and with Lashley, if Lashley holds that title, his background with MMA. So that's going to be a good twist, because we know Riddle can handle himself against Lashley. So this right here is going to either make Riddle or Riddle's going to break himself. Right now, he's making himself. And if he keeps that trend up, then you're going to see a good battle. I think this match was just setting up because AJ hasn't, him and Umos. I know Umos is raw at wrestling, so they're not defending the title like he usually does. So they're probably giving Umos some time in the Performance Center to try to develop his ring presence. So, it's putting AJ and McIntyre in here to fill it up. I mean, it's a good way to end Raw.
Yeah. Now, to move on away from Raw and talk some WWE SmackDown. Let's start this off. SmackDown. Bianca Belair kicks off the show. But then there was after Bianca Belair kicked off the show, there was a mixed tag team match. Belair and Cesaro versus Bayley and Seth Rollins. And the winner of this was Bayley and Seth Rollins defeated Bianca Belair and Cesaro.
Yeah, I can see this happening because they're trying to get, Rollins back up to where he needs to be. And, it still didn't hurt Cesaro. It still didn't hurt Belair's character. It helped Bayley and Rollins get some victories under their belts to push them into that limelight. So I think this was a good match. I still think, Bayley is she's going to be a good contender with Belair, but Belair is stronger than Bayley. Bayley's more witter and more smarter and a ring veteran. So, I think a good mixture right there for that women's title. And then I think the chemistry with Cesaro and Rollins has been really, really good. I really like that that rivalry going on, but I still think Cesaro needs to be in a world title match. I think he's paid his dues, and just setting him back with Rollins is still a good way to polish him off to be that top tier. Because Cesaro's character is just really raw. I mean, it's just no really. He's just plain old Cesaro, and then he does that sometimes with that one he had with the 007 type stock entrance. It was awesome. But I mean, him being just raw, he's a strong superstar. So I like this. I like the way they put in with Rollins, letting Rollins help him polish his little character out, and you might see him back in that World's title picture.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, after that match, Seth Rollins, there's something that was kind of interesting throughout the show. I think really this next episode, you're going to see a lot more into Seth Rollins, because it did leave off a cliffhanger with this character. He goes on and asks Sonya Deville and the other
Adam Pearce,
yeah. If thoughts about him trying to take the title away from Roman Reigns, but towards the end of the show, Roman Reigns makes a special announcement. That special announcement didn't finish. I have no other choice but to do this. It never finishes because Edge comes back. Edge comes back and beats up beats up Roman Reigns and beats up Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso did not appear in Friday Night SmackDown. So are we going to see maybe a match between Edge and Seth Rollins? And the winner goes off to face Roman Reigns?
No. I think Seth Rollins just putting his fillers out to let him know that he's interested to go up against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns really hasn't said that he wants to go up, but right now, with the Edge coming back, they're trying to finish up with the Edge and Roman Reigns. Edge still has some business to finish because you remember that match was a triple threat match, and Edge never had a fair shot at him and Daniel Bryan was wrestling in this match, so they're giving Edge a chance to do the one-on-one with Roman Reigns. I like the way they brought Edge back out of nowhere. I really didn't see Edge coming out.
I saw it.
I really didn't see it because they really didn't tease it. And, I had a feeling that he was going to come back soon, but not this soon. I thought he might even come back for SummerSlam. But then again, you have John Cena coming back somewhere between after Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. So, to me, I think this is the way to get Edge out of the picture a little bit here. We'll see how this picture turns out here in the next few weeks leading up to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It's a very interesting storyline because he got two cliffhangers here. We don't know what's going on. We know what's going through Edge's mind. He wants retribution. We don't know what's going through Seth Rollins' mind. But also, leave a little while we're talking about Seth Rollins here, we'll leave a little history out here. Becky Lynch is on her way back. So it'd be very interesting if they put Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins on the same show and have them team up together.
Ooh. So you said that they didn't really tease Edge coming back, but they did though.
No, I mean the way they're talking about it, yeah, on that show where they set it up, talking about him and Edge and all that stuff. I kind of knew when the show started, when he started talking about it, and then he showed some pictures and stuff like that. But then again, before the show, they did not really tease it on any other show. And last SmackDown they showed a little bit of video of it, but to me, if you read reports, Edge wasn't even. They were talking about all the reports I've seen was Edge wasn't even in Tampa when this happened. Edge flew into Tampa that day around. It was about an hour before he came out. He showed up in Tampa because they showed pictures. They showed pictures that day. Yeah. They showed pictures of him in North Carolina where him and his wife Beth Phoenix live. They live in the mountains of North Carolina. They showed pictures of him in North Carolina throughout some of the reports that showed him in North Carolina on the day because they time stamped the pictures of it. But he flew in that night an hour before he showed up on Raw because Vince McMahon didn't know if he wanted to bring him back now or waited after the pay-per-view or during the pay-per-view.
However, but he was on the Money in the Bank poster.
Sometimes they put wrestlers on there to make you think, hey, it might come back. But sometimes those posters are wrong. So you have to watch out because Vince McMahon is good at putting people on the poster, and they don't even show up sometimes because they use the poster to sell the pay-per-views.
Fair enough.
And if you look on the posters, and in the very bottom line it says card subject to change.
Okay.
So it's not misleading.
So moving on up, we covered like what's going on with Seth Rollins. We covered that Edge storyline towards the end. However, a little bit before that, Jey Uso did not appear to Friday Night SmackDown. So Roman Reigns is like, all right, I'll make you a deal to Jey Uso. If you win the match tonight, you get to be the new right-hand man. So he did beat Dolph Ziggler. So I think we're going to see a lot more in the Seth Rollins next week. But we're also going to see a lot in this Jey Uso. I think, are we going to see more of this tag team splitting up? Do you think that's going to happen?
No, I think they're going to bring him back. I think, to me, I look at this thing, the way they setting it up. Jey Uso was the right-hand man. Now Jimmy's the right-hand man. I don't think they're going to be splitting up. I think they're going to be putting them together. But then I also have a feeling that those two tag team partners are going to end up turning on Roman Reigns if The Rock shows up at SummerSlam like he's predicted to be. He's either predicted to show up at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. So this storyline could continue all the way up to WrestleMania. I think when The Rock comes back, I think the Usos turn on Roman Reigns and help The Rock win that match.
So the Money in the Bank qualifier match was Big E versus Apollo Crews. Well, the ref caught Commander Aziz, and basically he was disbanded from ringside. Shortly after he was disbanded from ringside, Big E defeats Apollo Crews to make it into the Money in the Bank qualifying. Money in the Bank, like he's going to be appearing in it. His first one, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so Apollo Crews, one, I think that the storyline is going to come and end sometime soon. Well, it's not really a storyline.
Yeah, it's a storyline.
Yeah. And two, I kind of felt like this was going to happen because Apollo Crews has a belt on him. The Intercontinental Champion belt.
Yeah, but don't use that Intercontinental Championship anything for Big E because their reports are out that they don't have anything for Big E story wise. But then again, they put him in the Money in the Bank. He wins this qualifier match, puts him in the Money in the Bank match. I have a feeling that Big E could walk out his first time and also first time Money in the Bank winner to give him the right to go up against that, for the World's Heavyweight title. Don't count Big E out because Big E has, just like him and and Zario, they are consummate professional. They have been in this business for a while. They have paid their dues. I mean, Big E played the bodyguard of Chris Jericho when he first came in. So don't, Big E could be a serious guy. Big E could be a funny guy. He's retooled himself. And I have a feeling that Big E could walk out of Money in the Bank as the Money in the Bank winner and have that contract for that World Heavyweight title that it's been missing for, on him for a while.
Yeah, I can see that as well. So the last match of Friday Night SmackDown was Liv Morgan versus Carmella. After Sonya Deville has announced that Carmella will be competing as a random draw choice in Money in the Bank. Now, if Liv Morgan won this match, she will consider being Sonya Deville will consider being putting Liv Morgan in this match as well.
I think Liv Morgan is living up to her hype. I mean, if you see some of the workout videos, like I've been talking on the show before, some of her workout videos are intense. She's really honing her craft. I mean, she's doing moves that, you can't believe that. I mean, she's going off the ropes, over the top rope, hitting a DDT, spinning DDT while she's coming over the rope. I mean, it's unbelievable what she's been putting in her work with Natalya and her husband. And then the Undertaker I've seen pictures of him, Undertaker helping her out with certain moves and stuff. And then Michelle McCool, you don't forget that, Undertaker's wife, former tag team and former women's diva champion. She's been helping her out too. So Liv has been, coming into her own here. And I like the way they set this up. I like the way, giving her the interest in to being in that Money in the Bank. I think she deserves to be in that Money in the Bank. I think she deserves a chance. Because if you really look at Liv Morgan, it hasn't really had a chance since the Riot Squad broke up. I mean, she's been, in certain different elements, with the Lana, and stuff like that. But I mean, getting her to be on the stage and beating Kamala, the way she beat her, I think is helping her out. I think you got to give Kamala, opportunity to say, hey, I'm helping her. I'm going to put her over. So I'm going to lose this match. You got to understand wrestlers, looking out for each other here and building up her career. She's got a star written all over her. And if WWE messes this up and decides to cut her and she goes to AEW, she's going to be, up there. She's going to be one of the top competitors, and WWE is going to be kicking their butts.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that as well. I really want Liv Morgan to win it. I want Liv Morgan to win it. I'm rooting for Liv Morgan. I'm also rooting for John Morrison to be the two Money in the Bank winners.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Big E could be a winner here. I just like the way WWE is keeping certain things hush hush and talking about they don't have a storyline for Big E. And that's bull. I think they have a storyline for him. I think it's going to come out probably in the Money in the Bank. If he wins the Money in the Bank, then we know what the storyline is going to be. He's going to be holding that title. He's going to be holding that contract, and he's going to be playing games with Roman Reigns the whole time.
Moving on and going to the last topic, which is AEW. First match of the night was Hangman Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And the winner of this was Hangman Page defeating Hobbs.
Yeah, I like Hangman's storyline. I like him, the way AEW is using him, a drunken cowboy. We can believe a drunken cowboy. He rides a horse, does all the things and making the storyline believable. Cowboys got that rich and thing going in saloons and being drunk. I like the way they handling him. I like the way they teasing him, and I like the way he, performed with big Powerhouse Hobbs from Team Taz. I mean, they're trying to make Taz team look kind of weak, but they're not making them look weak because Heyman's a very good competitor. He can hang his own with the big guys. I think it's making Team Taz look a little bit stronger. Um, they trying to tease. They trying to tease. They're trying to tease Heyman and stuff like that. And Taz is very good at being playing games with these guys, and I like the way they build up this match. And it did not disappoint me at all.
Yeah. After that was Matt Seidel versus Dante Martin, and the winner of this one was Seidel. Defeated Dante Martin.
Well, if you kind of look at at this match here, I mean it really didn't get me. I think these are good up and coming talents. I think one of them looks like John Cena. If you look at this picture here, it looks like a darker kind of John Cena looking thing. But I mean, it was a great match. I mean, AEW knows how to put on a match, and AEW's matches they tell you the story. And this story right here was two up and coming competitors trying to make their way to a title scene, and they've all put each other over as just one wrestler after another. And I mean, Seidel was a seasoned veteran, grounded out his younger opponent. Martin found back and delivered. So you had a veteran and a young guy, and I think both of them held their own. And Seidel won because he's a veteran. He was very smooth, but I mean, it didn't hurt Martin at all.
So hold on. So after that match, Ethan Page versus Beer Bronson, and the winner of this was Page defeating Bronson.
Yeah, I mean, Bronson, and then I think his partner is Scorpio Sky. So I mean, they're on a tear right now. They're the ones that beat up Darby Allin, threw Darby Allin off the stairwells in at the Jacksonville, Daily's Place area. So I mean, they still building up this intriguing thing with Sky and Pay, and so I mean, it's just I like the way this storyline's clicking out with Sky and so I mean, to me, it's leading up to Page being Darby against Darby Allin in the Coffin Challenge match. I think that's the way it's leading up. They don't want to make him lose to Bronson. Bronson's not really a strong wrestler right now. He's not even a strong storyline for him. So I've made him lose. It made that team look weak. So this is kind of making a stronger push when Darby Allin comes back and challenges him to the Coffin Challenge match in a match in July at Road Rager.
So after that, Chris Statlander versus the Bunny, and the winner of this match was Statlander defeating Bunny.
Yeah, I like the way they put Statlander with Orange Cassidy. That's a good mixture. And then they put the Bunny with the Butcher, and that's interesting. You got a Bunny and you got a Butcher. That don't make no sense. Look at it here. You got a Butcher gonna butcher, a Bunny. So I mean, I like the way they put the mixed tag team. I think it was just, the 16-year-old veteran Bunny sees control. Bunny is a 16-year-old veteran, but Statlander, she's made herself. I mean, she from the get go, I liked her. She was an out of space kind of character, and she plays her character very well. And I like the way AEW put this match together, and it's just her and Orange Cassidy, just the chemistry between the two, and then Butcher and the Bunny had that same chemistry on the other end.
Okay. And then after that, AEW World Championship match, Jungle Boys versus Kenny Omega in this one, or Kenny Omega defeated Jungle Boys to retain the title.
Yeah, I like the way they put Jungle Boy into this match. Jungle Boy deserves it because he's a small competitor, but he can hang his own. And with him and Team Jurassic, I think it's just his combination, his skills, his speed, his agility, his athleticism, and I like the way he earned some of this spot. And I kind of feel Kenny Omega was going to win, but you got to keep your hats off to Jungle Boy. He kept his composure, he kept his control. Um, he was good in his match. They let him have some thing, and when they came out, the Good Brothers, came out and helped out. It made Jungle Boy look stronger. He had Kenny Omega had to have people out there to help him and stuff. So I mean, and then you had Christian Cage come in at the end to prevent Omega from delivering another blowout ultimate victim. And then doing an attack by the Hardy family off his Matt Hardy and Private Party, double super kick the Young Bucks. So I mean, I think this is all set up. I like the way AEW is pushing their product. They're not overdoing it. They're pushing solid programs. They're pushing solid. Every match they had, it was awesome. It was a great show. It kept your interest through the beginning all the way to the end. So I mean, they put out a good product, and WWE has got some. They got some catching up to do right now.
So that was all of the matches from Monday Night Raw. That was all the matches from Friday Night SmackDown, and that was all the matches from AEW. Any final comments before giving this a close?
I got some couple of rumors here that I want to go out here. The report that came out, it caught my eye, was that you say WWE plans for Edge at SummerSlam. We know that's not going to be at SummerSlam. We know it's going to be probably in Money in the Bank. They will move that up. That's one of the rumors out there that they wanted to see, and I wanted to see it. I just wanted to hear. Daniel Bryan's out of the picture. I wanted to see Edge go 1-on-1 with Roman Reigns and Spear versus Spear, Superman punch. I like to see what this could do. I like to see if Edge can really hang at his old age, hang with Roman Reigns at a younger person. I think he can. I think he's proven this point, and he sent that message on Raw, on SmackDown, very clearly. He got my attention on that. I know he got Roman Reigns' attention.
So I have a question. Mm-hmm. Would you want to see Daniel Bryan knocking Roman Reigns over the top rope on Royal Rumble?
To me, I'm a big, huge Daniel Bryan fan.
Just for payback.
I like if somehow he does show up at the Royal Rumble coming, if that when he does return, if he decides to return, we don't know where he's going to land. He's a free agent. I think he's out. His contract expired. They haven't really re-signed him yet. So he has a 90-day no compete clause. He's the only one on the wrestler right now in the free agent market that has a 90-day non-compete clause. So he's sitting at home collecting money from the WWE, even though his contract ran out. Because when you have that non-compete clause, WWE still has to pay him until either they released him from that non-compete clause or he has to keep getting paid. So he's probably sitting at home cutting the fake check for doing nothing. But I like to see if he does come back and sign that contract, I'd like to see him be a surprise entrance and all of a sudden just tear everybody apart and tear Roman Reigns up.
Yeah, I can see that more happening on Royal Rumble, though. But he can only come back to Monday Night Raw. He can't come back to Friday Night SmackDown because that was part of the deal.
True. But, I mean, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, anybody go, I don't think they're going to do a SmackDown and have their own Royal Rumble and, Monday Night Raw have their own Royal Rumble. I think depends on where they put the draft at. It depends on where the WWE plans to do the draft. If WWE plans to do the draft after the Royal Rumble, then I could see that. But that's the only way Daniel Bryan's probably going to get back to SmackDown when they do the draft, and if they decide to draft him back to SmackDown, that's the only way he could break that thing because WWE just does a draft to mix up rosters.
Any other rumors that you have?
Yeah, Jungle Boy and Anna Jay have now stepped out and said they're a couple. They're both AEW wrestlers. They were caught on his Instagram page kissing in the parking lot at the Jacksonville at TIA Bank Stadium. They got finished. They were in their wrestling gear. They left the arena. They thought they were by themselves in the parking lot. And right here is a good shot of. I got a good picture of them, sitting there kissing each other in the parking lot. It's a good shot. So I think they had to come out now. I think we know they're a couple now. Becky Lynch is planning on coming back. They don't know exactly. They say soon, but we don't know how soon. And that's going to be all up to her. She is at the Performance Center here in Orlando right now, training.
So that is all I have on my side. It's been Nate the Great and Ray Cruz signing out. See you guys next week.
Peace.